even up to, you know, preschool age. You know, some of our kids, you know, they're 3 years old, 4 years old. They sometimes just want to be carried. They usually don't want to be carried for like 2 hours at a time. So it's okay. But I think, you know, one of the questions that I get a lot is, what is your favorite carrier? And I don't have a favorite carrier, but I do say my ring sling is my most used carrier.
Yeah.
I use this so much from birth all the way throughout. It's really great for the summer because it's just one layer of fabric. So you don't have multiple layers of fabric on you and baby, or padding or extra fabric. So it's great for the summer. It's great for little babies because, again, it's just one thin layer of fabric. It's great for older babies who want to go up, down, up, down, up, down. If you have older kids, they want to go play with them, but then they also want to come back to you right away. Or if you're going to go into the store really quick, well, not anymore so much. But if you want to just put them up really quick to do something, it's just a really great carrier all around, and you can use it.
On myself.
Yeah, and you know what, in the ring sling, I think is one of the ones that you just really need some one-on-one help.
Yeah.
Preferably in person, but we do the best that we can right now, right? But once people get it, they love it, right? Okay. So starting with the ring sling completely unthreaded, the only time I ever really unthread it is when I wash it. And then after that, I just keep it threaded and ready to go. So you're going to hold the rings with one hand. And then with your other hand, you're going to gather the fabric like an accordion.
Oh, Jesus.
Starting from one edge all the way to the other edge. Yeah, just gathering it. It doesn't have to be, yeah. And so one thing you want to do is you want to make sure that it's not twisted on itself like this, right? So it's kind of like a hammock. So make sure it's not twisted. Where are your rings? Let me see.
My rings are in this hand.
Okay, let go of the ring. Let go of that. Yeah, there we go. So is it like a hammock? It's not twisted on itself? Like
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right. So now you're going to put all of that fabric through both of the rings. And so with mine, I'll turn it so you can see the edges stayed on their corresponding side. See, when I put it in, stayed where it belongs. So this one didn't like end up over here. So kind of make sure, look at yours and make sure that that didn't happen with yours.
Okay.
And one way you can do that too, especially if it's like confusing, you can start on the part that's sewn and follow that edge around. So you follow it around just to make sure that it's in the right place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's
All right, let me see. Grab one edge by the sewn, on the sewn part. You see where the seam is?
Yeah.
Here by the rings? Nope. You're going to start, see at the top?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So just follow that edge around.
Okay.
With your fingers. Just run it, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So now back to the rings. So now you're going to open up the rings. And that loose tail, the one that we pulled through, you're going to pull that back out through that outer ring.
Okay.
There you go. All right. So now it should look like this. So this is where the gathered and sewn part is on my rings, on my ring sling.
Yeah. I don't know if I did it right.
All right. Let's see. Turn it around. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're just holding it the other way, but.
Okay. Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now, again, you're going to just double check that the edges stayed where they were, where they are supposed to be. And one way you can do that too is in the rings, in between the rings, you're going to find an edge, the fabric in between the rings, right? So not like below the rings or above the rings, but in between the rings, find the fabric edge.
Okay. Got it. Yep.
So once you find it, you got it?
Yep.
Not there. You got it. You're going to grab it between. Yeah, you got it?
Yep.
Let me see. Look, I want to see what's happening. Yeah, there we go. So now you're going to kind of just walk your fingers across the width of the fabric and see it's going to sort of spread my fabric so that it's not super turned in and twisted on each other. And I'm just going to do that until I get to the other edge, till I find my other edge.
I think I got it. Is this right?
Yeah, where are your edges? Let me see. One edge there, one edge there. Okay, great. And so now you're just going to pull very gently through the rings.
Yeah, the other carriers are a little easier.
The what?
The other carriers are a little easier.
Well, don't get discouraged because this is a learning curve. You know, you're learning how to use a different kind of carrier. And so once you get it, it just becomes muscle memory, and you become faster. You don't have to, and then remember, you don't have to do this every single time. And so we're going step by step here.
How to go over this one?
What was that?
Does this have to go over the outside ring?
Yeah, it's just leave it like that. It should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it gets in place all on its own.
Okay.
So you won't have to do this every single time. And, you know, just like with anything else, once you get the hang of it, then it's, you know, it's not an issue. It's not hard. Right? You might find that you prefer another carrier, but it shouldn't be hard, right? Okay. So once you've got that, now you're going to determine where do you want to put your rings. And so somebody who's brand new to ring slings, what I ask is, if you pick up your baby, I'm going to use my demo doll. This is a weighted demo doll, and this doll weighs about 6.5 pounds. So it's very realistic when using it for these demos. But I usually ask, if you hold your baby on your hip, which hip do you use?
I use my left hip.
Okay. So I do too. So I use my left hip as well. That feels good for me. And so you can start by trying your rings on your right side. So when you're the sling, then your baby's going to be on your left hip. And then if you end up not really liking that, you can also try the other side and see if that feels better. But this is a good starting point. So wherever you hold baby, the opposite shoulder is where you're going to put your rings.
Okay.
Okay. So the way that I do that too, and again, it's going to seem kind of tedious at first, but then once you think of it, you get it. So you want your rings on your right shoulder. So this is a trick that I have for that.
Okay.
Is with your right hand, you're going to use your right hand to hold your rings.
And
then that loose tail, this one, the one with the rings, should be facing your right as well. So rings on your right shoulder, you hold with your right hand, and tail facing the right.
Okay.
If I wanted to put it on my left, then it would look like this.
Okay.
Right? So holding your rings with your right hand, you're going to take your left hand and put it through the body of the ring sling and over your head. There we go. And now that loose tail should be facing down, kind of coming down like a waterfall. If it's facing the other way like this, then you know it's on wrong.
Okay.
Right? So, all right. So we're going to do all of these little mini adjustments on your body first before we even put baby in. That way, we don't have to adjust so much once baby is in, especially helpful if you have a wiggly baby or a brand new baby that's still not holding up their weight very much.
Yep.
So do as much adjusting as you can before putting it in. So one of the things that I do is I like to, I'm going to lower my camera just a little bit so you can see. I like to make sure that the fabric on my back is spread out and not twisted. So I'll pull the bottom edge. Can you see that? I'll pull the bottom edge and the top edge.
Oh, I think mine is.
Let me see. Turn around when you do that all the way. So yours is twisted. Do you feel that?
Yep.
Yeah. Let me see. Now turn around towards me.
Did I do it wrong when I
think it twisted. Yeah, I think it twisted somewhere along the way. It's hard for me to see from here because it's all one color. So do you want to start over again?
Yep. I'll get it. I'll get it.
It's hard to see with those single colored.
Okay. Starting over.
So let me start. I'll do it with you. So hold on. Let go of that loose tail. So holding the rings. So pick the edge that's closest to your body. And run your fingers or your hands all the way to down the width, and then start gathering it.
Okay.
Your hands. Right? And so again, double check. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that looks good. So now you're going to give it to your other hand through the rings.
Okay, I think I got it.
Yeah. And now open the rings, and it's going to go back out through the outer ring. So grab the whole, you got to grab the whole thing. If you just grab one edge, then there's going to be more room for twisting. So grab the whole thing like this.
Yep.
And pull it through. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that looks better. Okay. Again, really quick. In the rings, you're going to find that edge. Yeah, find that edge, and then run your fingers across the width until you get to the other edge. That's going to really spread out the fabric in there. And the reason why I do that is because the more spread out that fabric is, the easier it's going to be to adjust once baby is in. Your fabric will be able to glide. If it's too twisted or too folded in on itself, the fabric is going to lock on itself and not glide through the rings to adjust. So it'll be really hard to tighten it.
I think this looks better than last time.
I think so. It's hard for me to tell from here, but it looks good. Let's try it.
Okay.
So shoulder rings, right hand, tail is facing the right, and then you put it through on your head. Loose tail is facing down. Perfect. All right. So now let's check the back. Yeah, that looks better. There we go. Yep. You got it. Just like that. Exactly. Spread it. Yes. There we go.
It reminds me of me giving birth.
All right. So now the next thing that I want to do is I want to adjust the body of my sling. So if you find that this is my bottom edge, this colored section, and this is my top edge. My top edge is much looser than my bottom edge. I kind of want to just even that out a little bit. So you'll notice here, this is what I mean by the fabric gliding through. You'll notice that if I want to tighten this edge, I will pull on this edge on my tail, and see, it'll just glide through and become tight.
Have the colors, so that's good.
Yeah, it's really easy to see it.
So how tight would you want them?
That's a good question. So just for now, just even it out with your bottom one. We just want them even for now. And one way to check is if you pull the whole thing like this, and it should more or less look like that. If it's really, really loose, you'll be able to tell.
Okay.
That's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? There's no way of measuring that anyways. But you just want them by, pretty even. So now the next thing you want to do is you want to bring the rings up high by your shoulder. So not on top of your shoulder, but just below.
Is right here good, like on your collarbone area?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe just like a smidge higher for you. Because once you put baby in, it tends to kind of come down a little bit. But once baby is in, you don't really want it lower than that. Mm-hmm. But if you start here, it'll end up here. So you want to kind of put it up a little bit higher there than where you want it to end up. Okay, good. So now back to your question about how tight should we make this? So that just depends on your body shape and the size of your baby. So for a smaller baby, you don't need as much space, so you can leave it nice and snug, but you only want to leave just enough room for baby. You don't want it to be super loose, because then it just, once you put baby in a super loose carrier, then you're like pulling and tugging to tighten, and then this comes like over here and it starts to twist in there. So the more you do this, the more you'll know, right? Like with, you'll at first you'll guess and you estimate, but then afterwards you get a feel for how you want that. Mm-hmm. Once you get used to it and putting your baby in. But for now, if it needs to be tighter, you just grab the whole tail and you pull to make it tighter. If you want it looser, you lift this ring up, the one that's visible completely right here, and you lift that up while pulling here. See?
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
So let me see how loose yours is, because I kind of have an idea of how big Malachi is. Maybe a little bit more looser for you, like an inch. So grab this right here and just pull it up while pulling on this. Okay. Yep. There you go. And now adjust your rings if they came down a little bit. Yeah. And then I also like to cup the fabric over my shoulder like that.
Yeah, I think mine.
It just feels really good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you're ready for baby. So I'm going to suggest, we're not quite ready for baby. I'm going to show you how to do it once, and we're going to try it together. Okay. So just watch me for a second. So you're going to pick up baby, and put baby up on your shoulder, nice and high, like if you were going to burp baby. Yeah. You remember that, right? Burp baby. You're going to hold baby with one hand, and with your free hand, you're going to reach under the ring sling, see? And going to find their feet. Open them at the same time and guide them through.
Okay. Let's see how my child does this, because he's a little cranky right now.
A snack or a toy would help.
Okay.
So at this point, I kind of just forget. People tend to, so don't put them in just yet. Keep watching. People tend to want to like start pulling up the fabric, and we're not quite ready for that yet. So once you put baby's legs through, I want you to kind of just forget about the ring sling and focus on baby and your body. Okay. So I want you to just lower baby into the position that feels good on your body. So for some people, that's completely centered. For other people, it can be like more on the side, depending on what you like and what you're gonna do, you know, right? Or what it feels like doing. So you lower baby. If the ring sling is too tight, you'll know it because baby's really high, so you can loosen it by doing this. Or if it's too low, you can tighten it.
Sorry. Here.
Yeah. Hi, Malachi. Hi.
Hello.
You're getting so big. Hi.
Yeah, he's pounds down.
Oh my gosh. All right. So lower baby into the position that feels good for you. And then the fabric here, now we're ready to start adjusting that. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that all of the fabric is still under my baby's bottom. And that baby's sort of sitting in it with, so imagine if this is the fabric and these are their legs, that their knees are kind of like hooked onto that fabric. So imagine like when you're sitting on in a hammock, not like laying in it, but sitting in it with your legs out. That's what it's going to feel like, right? So the edge of the fabric goes all the way to the crook of your knees. So baby's legs are going to be like this. The fabric reaches the back of one knee all the way to the back of the other knee.
Okay.
And so once we're there, now we're able to bring just the edge of the top fabric there, bring it all the way up. I'm still supporting baby. Bring it all the way up. Okay. Not covering baby's face, just the nape of the neck. And because we did all of our pre-adjustments, this down here is pretty snug, and all of the looseness is just still up here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to bring it from around the back. See, there's looseness here. Bring it towards the rings. Okay. And I'm pinning the slack here while at the same time supporting baby and making sure that there's no space between me and baby. Okay. Right? So they're nice and snug against my body. All the slack is here, close to the rings, and it's all in this top purple edge. So now I'm going to find that top edge, and I'm going to pull. You see that? Yep. How it comes out? Yep. I'll do it again.
Remember all this information, so when I put them in, we're going to do it slowly.
We'll do it together. Don't worry. And also being gentle with yourself. It takes, it's going to take more than one try. Yeah. So pulling it tight. It helps to sometimes pull diagonally, like sort of like from your shoulder to your opposite hip. Yep. So pulling down sometimes doesn't work, but pulling across like that. It also sometimes helps to go up and then down really quick, because when you pull up, it kind of unlocks the tension here, and it allows for that fabric to glide. And then for bigger babies, heavier babies, you want to lift their weight up a little bit, not like a whole lot, just a little tiny bit, because the weight of the baby is creating tension here, and it tightens and locks that fabric. So when you want to glide it, sometimes it helps to lift and then tighten. So once I get that top slack out, I just go the width of my fabric here, and do little tugs just to get any slack out. And then I just go back and I double check. I'm like, is baby sitting in that fabric? Is the fabric wide from the back of the knee all the way to the back of the knee? Yes. Is baby supported here? There's no space between me and baby. You see that? And then finally, I just adjust my shoulder until it's comfortable. And that's it. And then to take baby out, you just lift baby's weight up a little bit and loosen just a couple inches. That way it's ready for you for the next time to put baby in.
Okay, so you can keep this
just like this.
That's
right? Yes. And so now you just pop baby out.
Okay.
So now we're ready for Malachi.
Okay, Malachi, ready? Mama! You got the mommy? Are you so okay.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Now pick baby up. You're gonna reach through the ring sling. Both legs through. And then at this point, we just kind of forget about the ring sling and just focus on baby. Where do you want baby? Where does it feel good? Hi, Malachi. Hi. And you want the fabric of the ring under their bottom. Yeah. So that they're kind of sitting on it. There we go. All right. Do you want baby there? Or do you want baby a little bit lower?
I feel good.
Okay. So make sure that the fabric is under their bottom and that it reaches the back of the knee all the way to the back of the other knee. So if I can see the crook, yeah, if you can see the crook of their knee, then it needs to go in a little bit more.
Okay. Is that good?
Yeah. Yeah, and their butt's kind of like hanging over it. You see that?
Yep.
All right. So, yeah. So now you're going to reach here with your thumb.
Uh-huh.
Find the edge. The other one. Switch hands. So, yeah, exactly. And now you're going to find that edge, and you're going to pop it over their booty like this. Go all the way up. And now, make sure that that fabric stays under the baby's bottom and all the way to the back of the knee. You see how it popped out a little bit?
Oh, I know. Okay, well, I don't think Malachi is ready. I'm wanting to do this.
That's okay. Hi, Malachi. You're just so interested. You want to say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Hi. You see, I got a baby too. Hi.
You see baby? Baby. You see?
Hi.
There's baby, Mama.
Like a little snack you can hold and eat at the same time?
Yeah, I think I'll pick it up with my toe. You want to see this? You want this? You want it? Here.
All right. So really quick, pull that fabric closer to your body. Make sure it covers all the way, like all of his thigh, all the way up to the back of the knee. There we go. Okay. So now really quick, bring that fabric slack from behind you over here on the other side. Yeah. And kind of really just kind of move it towards the rings. And while you're supporting Malachi, you're kind of pinning that fabric there. Yep. Now you're going to find that edge and pull towards your opposite hip. Pull down towards your opposite hip. Now work your way down the width of the fabric. It's okay for you to turn. Turn if he's like wanting to see something on the other side.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, tighten. There we go. And now let the ring swing hold his weight.
Okay.
So you get to the bottom. The bottom edge also needs a little bit of tightening. There we go. And then for bigger babies who have their arms out, just make sure that the fabric reaches up all the way up until, under their armpits. Their hands can be out.
Okay.
Their hands can be out, but just make sure that the fabric is nice and high and not like down here.
Is that okay?
Yeah, how does that feel?
It feels nice.
It shouldn't feel like baby's gonna fall out if you let go.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay? It should feel really secure.
Yeah.
Hey, Malachi. What was that?
It feels really light.
Good.
So their feet can be out like this?
Oh, absolutely. From birth all the way up. On a very case-by-case basis, you're going to have some babies, newborn babies, brand new. I'm talking about like days-old babies who will need to have their feet in.
Mm-hmm.
But for that, it's, like I said, it's very few babies need that. And usually those are babies that were breech presentation in utero. So instead of head first, they were butt down. Or premature babies sometimes need that. Not always, sometimes. Mm-hmm. So very, very few babies need to be with their feet in for the first week, maybe 2 weeks. But even beyond, you don't need to do that. Because sometimes I see babies with their legs in, and parents are saying like, oh no, baby doesn't like the ring sling because when I put him in, he tries to like jump out, he flexes his legs. And usually it's because they're feeling pressure on their legs. It's uncomfortable, so they don't like that. So this is appropriate for most babies, even from birth all the way up with legs out, because it's a natural position for them. If you think about like, if you just pick up your newborn and put your newborn on your chest, they get into this position all on their own.
Yeah, that's
all on their own.
Anyways.
So the idea of the carrier is that we're not manipulating the baby's position. We're supporting the baby's natural position. Most carriers will be able to do that if you're wearing them correctly. So we're not like moving or manipulating baby into positions that they wouldn't normally be in. The carrier should support their natural position. And this is usually it for most babies right here. So you want their bottom lower than their knees. So my baby's knees are like somewhere like right here. And when you hear about like the M position, this is what they're talking about. It's kind of like an M shape. So it goes up and then down. Right? Yeah. So in that wide spread squat position. You can also breastfeed in this ring sling. Once you get really good at the ring sling, if you practice, it'll be really easy to breastfeed as well.
Okay. It feels good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and keep practicing.
I think this is going to be the go-to once I get the hang of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Already like done. I can just pop them in. So
so just to take them out, you just loosen it a little bit and then take baby out and take the carrier off. And then when you're ready to put them back in, you just put the carrier back on and baby in.
Okay. Well, thank you. I'm going to put him to sleep now.
Okay.
Okay. You want to?
Bye, Malachi.
Should we take him out to show how to take baby out?
So lift baby's weight up just a little bit. Loosen a couple inches. Bye, Malachi. Okay, and now you're able to get some slack in there so you can take them out. So you can peel it down like this. Or once they're older and walking, you can even like peel it up like this.
Yep.
You can do that too.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have a nice day. See you.
You too. Bye.
Bye.